Okay, so in this video, I'm going to tell you about some other applications of this website, this wonderful website, Small Talk. And I have noticed it, for the first time itself, as in there are some other speaking activities also. I'll try and do one. Let's see what happens. Let's check the microphone first. It's, I think, the daily practice. As soon as I came to the dashboard, the starting, I saw this thing, test your level. I didn't go to the IELTS simulator thing as I normally do. So I just clicked that, take your test or something, test your level or something. Okay, small talk English speaking level test. Let's see what my level is. I'm reading the instructions. Okay, so you must have read the instructions also. So let's check the microphone. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. So let's start. How am I today? I'm good actually. I'm always good. It's just that sometimes I'm sullen because of the tensions that I have on my mind. But those are just domestic issues. They'll go away, they'll die down. As in, it's not that they're going to continue for my whole life. And apart from that, I've gotten 2 new students. So I have fees today. Favorite food momos, as in I'm someone who's very fond of them. I don't know, as in it happened that in I think 2012 or 2011, my father first bought them for me. We were in Delhi, and we were there, and it happened that we came across this stall that sold something of this sort, white kind of thing. We bought them, we ate them, and we instantly became fans of this dish. And now, can someone give me momos? You have a reason to leave this place, but I don't. This is one, a nice murder that'll cheer you up. Oh, do you know what someone with no money has in common with someone with too much money? Living is no fun for them. You don't trust people because they are trustworthy. You do it because you have nothing else to rely on. Beauty is fleeting, but a rent controlled apartment overlooking the park is forever. Hello, my name is Rebecca, and my question is uh, how much time to do you spend uh, how much time to do you spend on social media platforms? When I was a teenager, we didn't have a good internet connection at home, and we always went to internet cafes. In the internet cafes, I was always with my friends, so I rarely visited any popular websites for communication reasons. When I was in college, I missed my school friends, and that's why I started to use social media platforms. I think many people use social media to communicate with friends and family and to read news articles. In moderation, these are healthy activities. If you are using social media to communicate non-productively, watch videos solely for entertainment as opposed to education, and compare your life to that of your peers, social media can be unhealthy. Knowing why social media is so addictive can help students to avoid falling into the trap of overuse and addiction. Using social media 30 minutes or less a day is an excellent guideline, but how much is healthy for you depends on your personal circumstance. If you're currently spending 3 hours a day on social media, a practical strategy would be to reduce your time spent on social media by 30 minutes per week to gradually reach a more healthy amount. Similar to many other addictive behaviors, the key to avoiding an unhealthy amount of social media use is to ensure you remain the master of the medium, not the other way around. To conclude, social media platforms such as Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook have become ubiquitous in student life. As a result, eliminating social media use altogether is nearly impossible, especially considering the medium's impact on our social and professional lives. On the other hand, overuse of social media can lead to addiction and depression. Thus, it is critical that social media users monitor their use and keep it within some healthy limits for their own mental well-being. Not TV series, but I do watch web series a lot, and there have been TV series at a time. I'm actually talking about Friends and The Big Bang Theory. Um, Friends is my favorite, as in I cannot live without show because I have been watching it for about 1 year and I've watched the whole season, actually the whole series with about 10 seasons for about 2, 3 times now, and I still watch it. The most prominent reason for that is the realistic depiction of friends, as in they are not people who would die for one another, or they are not the people who would do things of the sort that are told to us in fairy tales. They are very realistic. At times they're going to break their friendships. At times they are actually very practical about where they want to live. At a point, one of the characters, Joey, is angry with two other characters because they are going away. But what happens is that Joey comes to terms with that. I would say sacrifice, and the other two characters also take care of the fact that Joey never misses them, so they take him along with them. As far as I remember from one of the scenes, and also my favorite character is Phoebe Buffay, who is actually someone like me who believes in humanity, who believes in altruistic efforts. She's someone who has had a rough childhood, so she has become a little ditzy also like me, and I'm also a bit of a kook, so I do not you know behave normally always, and she's like that also. She is someone who would say things of the sorts of necromancy, or maybe talking to the souls and talking to the ghosts and all. She would use the best I would say zany lines, and she would talk about things that do not exist. For instance, she would say that if she went to a beauty parlor, one of the friends would die because it's something that has occurred to her just out of nowhere. And though the other people do not believe her, as I said, since they are there to support one another, they pretend that they believe her, and she is actually very happy because of that. About the Big Bang Theory, the other show, I'm not a very big fan of that, but it's just that because there is some relationship between the three guys in the no, four guys in the series, uh, as in there's this camaraderie, there's this rapport between them that actually makes go gaga over them. And also the jargon the main character uses, as in I think one of the main characters uses the protagonist. His name is, I think, Sheldon. So the kinds of vocabulary terms he uses, as in they actually add to my wardrobe also. I'm very keen on in expanding my lexical repertoire. So when he speaks those terms, I actually note them down and search for them later. And again, the humor is at the highest level in this show also, because the way they interact with one another, the kind of uh, submerged humor is something that is excellent. Or dude, I've come across this photo of yours, as in, do you remember the time you came to me in 2020, and we had actually been living together for about, I think, 2 months, and on one day I caught you watching porn on in the morning time itself, and I had clicked this picture from the behind. So what had happened that you were actually kind of over your relationship and you were not feeling well. So what you thought was you would do something, entertaining, and that would actually make you forget the bad person, the I would say the person who had broken your heart. So this photo was actually taken in the drawing room, and I am actually very, I'm flabbergasted by the fact that you had this level of guts that you're watching pornography, right in the middle of a, you know, living room, and someone could have, caught sight of you, but you are you. So it's nothing that anything is wrong here, but I actually decided to keep this photo in my anthology of photos of you, because I remember the emotions you were feeling on that day, and it's not right to judge you some by your choice of graphic visuals. You need to get rid of your sorrows and agony. It was fine. You watched this threesome, and that's perfectly fine, because who does not do that? And they who say that they are not you know accustomed to watching porn or something, they lie, and it's a very natural habit, and it actually let you get out of that, I would say, reprobate, and it's perfectly fine. I'm very emotional. I become very nostalgic when I watch this photo, because you had been crying a day before, like your eyes had become fountains, they had become waterfalls, but on this day when you had gotten over this person through the orgasms you had, and I think that was perfectly fine, no problem with that. And that makes me ecstatic also, because there was something that I could help you with, because the porn collection was mine. I do not know how you got access to that, but it's okay. As in, I hope you didn't watch the videos that I had marked as labeled as maybe study material, because they were very raunchy, they were very exquisite. As in, they might have harmed you a bit, but it's okay. Again, as in, it's all about sex. So if you watched it, perfectly fine. And then I think I saw something, um, you know, eerie about this scenario, but okay.
What can we learn from making new friends? How important is it to have a social life? Why is having good friends important? What can we learn from making new friends? How important is it to have a social life? Why is having good friends important?
By making new friends, we can come across new perspectives, as in we need some kinds of philosophies to deal with different aspects of life. And what happens when we have only old friends, we are actually fuddy duddies who have been dealing with something in a certain way, and we are going to continue doing so in the rest of the life also. But when we meet new people, when we have new pals, companions, and maybe other kinds of jargon also, so we actually get something that is going to make us peep into life in a way that is going to be novice, and that is going to be helpful also. As in, for instance, once I had a new friend called Satpal. She actually taught me how to be with fortitude in life, and she told me how to be happy in every situation, and that made me, very, perhaps you can say, um, I had become stronger, but I would say I had turned into a stoic. So that was the thing that actually, was the biggest takeaway from that new friendship. And having a social life is important, because when you do not get out of your room, you become a zombie, you become a wallflower, and that is something very bad for your health, be it mental health or physical health, because you're going to become very fat, because you're going to become mentally dull also. So it's not good staying in your bed all day, and having a social life to, by meeting new people, meeting new, you meet the who's who of the city, you meet the creme de la creme. So what happens is that you become so aware of the goings in the locality, that you are actually active. And it's important to have good friends, because bad people are no good at all. As in, they're going to harm you, they're going to be snakes in the grass, so they can harm you anytime. I'm talking about bad friends. And good friends are there, for you in the thick and thin, and they're going to be there to support you where you are actually not able to do something by yourself. As in, To illustrate, I had this person in my life who actually stood by me when I was not able to start my new business. His name is Ajay Pal. He actually, walked the extra mile, collected money for me, made me muster my strength. And what happened was that I actually started my own business. And I'm thankful to him, and I will remain thankful to him throughout my life. May he live long. It happened today only because of this. It happened today only because what happened that a student of mine actually was being unreasonable. He was being so obstinate that I actually flipped out. He was asking for something by having not done anything himself in the homework, and the reason that he gave for not having done his homework was that he was not interested. Now, education and entertainment are two different things. You cannot overlap them, and if you draw Venn diagram, you will not see any kind of junction between them unless you are, selling education as a mockery. And as soon as I confronted him in regard to this, he was like, okay, I was wrong because I was not fulfilling the duties of a teacher, but that is not true. I was being there as a good pedagogue. I was being there as a good mentor. And I told him where his mistakes were, but he was so, I would say, obdurate. He was so obtuse that the point was not penetrating his mind. And when it happened that I had come to this, I had reached this conclusion that he was not going to understand the whole point at all. I gave up. I said you could go out. I said he could go out. He could opt out of the course, and he could look for someone else who could actually, you know, suff- satiate his educational desires of, making the teacher go according to his whims. And he actually agreed to that. Had I had this chance of going back in the past and changing something, I would have actually not, gotten him into my course in the first place itself, because I had this hunch when he came to me that he was going to be someone who was going to be dominating and all. But at that point, I was actually very happy because I had seen the Batman that night and I actually gave him the entrance. But afterward, it happened that he missed the class on a day, and the day, was not a very fortunate one because I was having some other troubles also. So I ignored that. But as in what happened that, you know, I had given him some tasks to do on the first day, and when I asked him about the responses on the third day, he said because he found the tasks actually monotonous, he didn't do them, and that was something I would say, something maybe irrational. As in, who says that you are given homework, you are bound to complete it, you are responsible for completing it, as in there is no excuse for that. But there are some people who are not going to understand this ever because they are actually blindfolded. They are of the opinion that the world goes according to them. They have no, I would say, that kind of exposure to life that they can accept criticism. They are not open to criticism at all. They are, they come to classes with a view to teaching people after being a student, after being students themselves. But that's what happens to them, that, eventually they're going to pay for this. They're going to, you know, either fail or score less than what they desire in the exams, and then they're going to think about the situation. But that's okay, because pondering is part of life. When you actually do mistakes, when you have made some errors, and then you go, uh, go about reminiscing about them, you get to know that you were wrong at that point, and then you make amends for what you have done and what you could have done better. And that's part and parcel. There's nothing that we can do about it. So I was angry, but I was also reasonable. So I have forgiven him. Okay, so I've decided on coming to your home, as in it's a great apartment. The residence is going to be my haven and also heaven. So I have some queries in regard to my stay, and I do not want any kinds of quarrels or any kinds of uninvited confrontations. So I want to make some points clear. First of all, tell me the monthly rent, as in I need to know when I need to pay the amount and what is the last date, and I need to be sure about the deadlines. And I request you to keep the rent reasonable, because I'm just a student. I cannot afford to be paying something that is beyond my financial limits. And I would request you to allow me to have my pet with me. He's my life. His name is Augie, and I want him to be there with me. I promise that we will, preserve the sanctity of the apartment. We would not do anything that is gonna, make you ashamed of the fact that you gave this apartment to us. Us, by us, I mean me and Augie. He will not, leave any kinds of scratches, and I will not leave any kinds of maybe broken things or any kinds of marks that are gonna, you know, consider that are gonna make you consider us in a bad light. And I want to know about the neighbors. I've seen that there's this person who's a douchebag, and there's a Virago that lives nearby. I want to be sure about their behaviors otherwise, because I've heard people saying nasty things about them, the lady and the man. So I hope they are not very intrusive. Also, I do not want them to interfere in my life. And if they are so, I request you to talk to them beforehand, because I would not be able to live with someone who is not, you know, who cannot stay behind from someone else's personal life. And the last but not least, can you tell me as in about the facilities I'm going to get inside, as in about the appliances and all, because I am not able to wash my clothes, with my hands. So I need a washing machine, and I hope you have one there installed, and the vacuum cleaner also, because I'm not able to, again by using my hands, my mitts, I'm not able to clean my house. I could not do it in my previous house. I will not be able to do that in my current house also, which is going to be yours, as in actually, but mine on rent. And I hope there's a vacuum cleaner. I know the electricity bill is going to be high if I use this, but it's okay. I am, settled enough in life that I can pay the electricity bill. And the vacuum cleaner, as in, I need to know where I can keep it after I've cleaned the house. I need to know the I need to have the electrician's number also. So if it broke down at a moment, I would be able to call him, and I would clean the house as I promised. I would keep the house clean, and for that I need a vacuum cleaner. And last but okay, finally, I would want to know that the lights and the bulbs and the fans are, you know in perfect condition, as in they are copacetic, because I can't live without them also. Let's see what happens. I have been going yakety yak for some time now. Till then, I should check some porn myself. Okay, the processing is gonna take some time. So what I do is that I stop the recording for some time. As it's as soon as it is ready, I will turn the recording on again. It's been 4 minutes, so it can be ready anytime now. Till then, let's see Sabdina start the band. So finally it's here. Let's see. Oh, I got C2. Oh,
Overuse. Overuse. Users. 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 Overuse.
okay. There's some problem with this software also. As in here, I had not said that I am selling. I had said uh, sometimes I'm sullen, Sullen. That means as in sad and all. So it's okay still, as in it's better than humans to analyze and to, you know, to get a hint to actually measure your English capability, spoken capability. So fine, I think I've done pretty well. So if you want to practice English beyond spoken English beyond IELTS, you can use this activity. And I hope you know that C2 is the highest level of proficiency. I can show you. Fine, see ya. As in the levels start from A1. That is something I think is called beginner, and C2 is the mastery level.